What if I told you that everything you've been doing to heal your anxiety might actually be holding you back? Sounds counterintuitive, right? But here's the truth. Most people unknowingly complicate their recovery by focusing on the wrong things. They chase quick fixes, force progress, and measure success in ways that only fuel their frustration. The result? They stay stuck in the same patterns, wondering why nothing seems to work. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone, and you're not broken. The good news is, healing doesn't have to feel like an uphill battle. In fact, the real breakthroughs often come from uncovering the hidden barriers that keep you trapped in cycles of fear and These aren't the obvious culprits like stress or a lack of willpower. They're subtle, sneaky habits and mindsets that sabotage your progress without you even realizing it. But once you identify them, everything changes. You'll finally understand why your symptoms persist and, more importantly, how to break free. So, are you ready to uncover the truth about what's really holding you back? In this video, we'll dive into 10 hidden reasons you're not healing your anxiety and, more importantly, how to overcome them. By the end, you'll have the clarity and tools you need to stop surviving and start thriving. Let's get started. It's fascinating how often we make things harder for ourselves, isn't it? When it comes to healing anxiety, many people fall into the trap of overthinking every step. They analyze their symptoms, dissect their patterns of thought, and spiral into endless mental loops, hoping to find the perfect solution. But here's the kicker. This constant rumination only feeds the anxiety. It's like trying to untangle a knot by pulling on every thread at once. It just tightens the mess. The protective voice inside you, that internal alarm system, thrives on this chaos, keeping you in survival mode. The more you complicate, the more it whispers, "Stay alert. Something's wrong." The solution? Simplify. Healing Dosen. Did you have to be a 12-step program or a quest for the ultimate self-help book? Sometimes, it's as simple as taking a deep breath and focusing on one small, actionable step. For instance, instead of obsessing over why you feel nervous in social settings, try grounding yourself in the present moment. Look around, notice the colors in the room, or feel the texture of your clothes. These small, practical actions can quiet the mental noise and give your nervous system a chance to regulate. It's not about solving everything at once. It's about creating space for clarity to emerge. But here's the thing. Simplifying isn't always comfortable. That protective voice might resist, telling you that you're ignoring something important, and that's okay. It's part of the process. As you start to untangle the mess, you'll notice that the urge to rush ahead, to force progress, starts creeping in. Have you ever felt the pressure to get back to normal before you were truly ready? It's a common trap. People often push themselves to dive back into their routines, thinking that forcing progress will speed up their recovery. But here's the hard truth. Rushing ahead without emotional stability is like trying to run on a sprained ankle. Sure, you might cover some ground, but you'll only end up more frustrated and exhausted when you inevitably hit a wall. Or worse, face a flare-up of symptoms. This cycle of forcing and failing can leave you feeling stuck, questioning your ability to heal. The key is to honor your limits and embrace gradual progress. Think of it like building a house. You wouldn't start decorating the walls before laying a solid foundation, right? The same goes for your mental health. Start small. If social situations overwhelm you, begin with a 5-minute conversation instead of committing to a full evening out. If work feels like too much, focus on completing one task at a time rather than tackling your entire to-do list. These incremental steps may feel slow, but they're the building blocks of sustainable recovery. Progress isn't about speed. It's about consistency. Of course, slowing down can feel counterintuitive, especially when that protector voice is urging you to do more. Be more. Fix everything now. But here's the thing. That voice isn't in charge. You are. The real challenge lies in recognizing when to pause, when to breathe, and when to let go of the need to control every outcome. And as you start to quiet that voice, you'll notice something interesting. It's been steering you into survival mode all along. That little voice in your head, the one that keeps you on high alert, scanning for danger, replaying worst-case scenarios, it's not your enemy, but it's not your guide either. This protector voice evolved to keep you safe in moments of real danger, like when humans had to outrun predators. But here's the catch. In today's world, it often mistakes everyday stressors for life-threatening situations. It keeps you locked in fight or flight mode, feeding your nervousness and amplifying your anxiety. You might think, if I just listen to it, I'll stay safe. But in reality, it's holding you back from true healing. The first step to quieting this voice is recognizing it for what it is, a well-meaning but overzealous alarm system. When you feel it taking over, pause and ask yourself, is this fear based on reality, or is it just a pattern of thought? For example, if you're dreading a conversation at work, your protector voice might say, they'll think you're But is that really true? Or is it just a fear-driven narrative? By creating this emotional separation, you can start to see the voice as a part of you, not the whole of you. It's like stepping out of a storm and realizing you don't have to get drenched. Of course, this process isn't instant. At first, silencing the protector voice can feel like stepping into a void. Quiet, unfamiliar, even unsettling. But that's where the magic happens. In that space, you can begin to rebuild trust in yourself rather than relying on fear to guide your actions. And as you practice this, you'll start to notice how often this voice has pushed you to seek external answers, as if the solution to your anxiety lies somewhere outside of you. But does it really? It's tempting, isn't it? When anxiety takes over, the first instinct is often to search for answers outside yourself. Maybe it's a new book, a different therapist, or the perfect diagnosis that will finally explain everything. While external tools can be helpful, relying on them too much can create a cycle of dependency. You end up chasing solutions instead of addressing the root cause. How you relate to your thoughts and emotions? It's like trying to fix a leaky faucet by replacing the sink. Helpful in theory, but it doesn't stop the drip. The real work begins when you stop looking outward and start turning inward. Instead of asking, what's wrong with me? Try asking, how am I reacting to this moment? For example, if you're feeling overwhelmed, pause and notice what's happening in your body. Are your shoulders tense? Is your breathing shallow? These small observations can shift your focus from external problems to internal awareness. It's not about ignoring outside help, it's about balancing it with self. After all, no book or expert knows your inner world better than you do. But here's the tricky part. Letting go of the constant search can feel uncomfortable, even scary. That protector voice might whisper, what if you miss something important? But the truth is, the answers you're seeking are often already within you, waiting to be uncovered. And when you stop complicating things with endless searching, you create space for gentleness and self-compassion to grow. Speaking of which, let's explore how forcing habits and expectations can sometimes get in the way of that growth. How often do we hear, just meditate, exercise, or journal, and you'll feel better? While these practices are powerful tools for healing, they can backfire when approached with a results-only mindset. Forcing yourself into new habits with rigid expectations, like expecting meditation to instantly erase your anxiety, can lead to frustration and even resentment. It's like planting a seed and digging it up every day to see if it's grown. Progress takes time, and forcing it only creates more tension in your mind and body. The key is to approach these habits with a sense of surrender. Instead of focusing on the outcome, focus on the experience itself. For example, when meditating, don't aim to clear your mind or fix your symptoms. Instead, simply sit with your breath and notice the sensations in your body. If your mind wanders, that's okay. Just gently bring it back. The same goes for exercise or journaling. Do it because it feels good in the moment, not because you're chasing a specific result. Over time, this shift in mindset can help you build habits that feel natural rather than forced. But here's the challenge. Letting go of expectations requires self-compassion. It's easy to fall into the trap of self-criticism, especially when progress feels slow. That's why it's so important to treat yourself with kindness, even when things don't go as planned. And as you practice this gentleness, you'll start to notice a deeper shift. Not just in your habits, but in the way you relate to yourself. Why are we often our own harshest critics? When anxiety flares up, it's easy to slip into a cycle of self-blame. Why can't I just get over this? Or, I should be doing better by now. This lack of gentleness creates a mental battlefield, where progress feels like a constant fight rather than a journey of healing. The truth is, self-criticism doesn't motivate. It keeps you stuck in patterns of guilt and frustration, making it even harder to move forward. The antidote is self-compassion, and it starts with small, intentional acts of kindness toward yourself. For instance, when you catch yourself spiraling into self-criticism, pause and ask, would I say this to a friend? Chances are, you wouldn't. So why say it to yourself? Instead, try reframing your thoughts. If you're feeling overwhelmed, remind yourself it's okay to feel this way. I'm doing the best I can. Even something as simple as taking a warm bath or giving yourself permission to rest can be a powerful act of self. These small moments of gentleness build a foundation for deeper healing. But here's the thing. Self-compassion isn't just about being kind. It's about creating a safe space for growth. When you stop punishing yourself for not being perfect, you free up mental energy to focus on what truly matters. And as you begin to nurture this relationship with yourself, you'll realize that healing doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, it often starts with the basics, like sleep, nutrition, and movement. Let's dive into why these foundational elements are so often overlooked. It's ironic, isn't it? We often chase complex solutions to anxiety while ignoring the simple, foundational habits that keep our minds and bodies balanced. Sleep, nutrition, exercise, and even something as basic as breathing properly. These are the unsung heroes of recovery. Yet, they're often the first things we neglect when life feels overwhelming. Think about it. How many times have you stayed up late scrolling through your phone only to wake up exhausted and wondering why your anxiety feels worse? These small choices add up, creating a shaky foundation for your mental health. Rebuilding that foundation doesn't have to be overwhelming. Start with one small habit. For example, prioritize your circadian rhythm by going to bed and waking up at the same time every day. Or take a 10-minute walk in nature to reset your nervous system and calm your fight or flight response. Even something as simple as practicing deep belly breathing. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold 4, exhale for 6, can help regulate your system. These small, consistent actions may not feel groundbreaking, but they create the stability your mind craves. The beauty of focusing on the basics is that it gives you a sense of control without overcomplicating things. When you nourish your body with good food, move it regularly, and let it rest, you're sending a powerful message to your subconscious. I'm safe, I'm cared for. And from that place of safety, deeper healing becomes possible. But as you strengthen these foundations, you might notice resistance, an attachment to old habits or identities that no longer serve you. Change is hard, isn't it? Even when we know something no longer serves us, there's a part of us that clings to the familiar. This is especially true when it comes to anxiety. Over time, it can become so intertwined with your identity that letting go feels like losing a part of yourself. Maybe you've always been the overthinker or the one who's always stressed. These labels, while limiting, can feel safe because they're known. But here's the truth. Holding on to this old identity keeps you tethered to the very patterns you're trying to break free from. The first step to releasing this attachment is recognizing it. Ask yourself, what parts of my old self am I still holding on to? For example, do you find comfort in hypervigilance because it makes you feel in control? Or do you avoid certain situations because they reinforce the belief that you're too anxious to handle them? Once you identify these patterns, you can start to challenge them. Try small experiments, like stepping outside your comfort zone in a low-stakes way. If you've always avoided speaking up in meetings, share one idea. If you've labeled yourself as bad at relaxing, spend 5 minutes doing absolutely nothing and see what happens. Letting go of the old identity isn't about erasing who you were. It's about making space for who you're becoming. It's about embracing your authentic self, the one that exists beyond anxiety and survival mode. But here's the thing. This process takes time, and it's easy to get impatient. You might find yourself wondering, why isn't this happening faster? That's where the next challenge comes in. Learning to trust the natural rhythm of your healing journey. Healing anxiety is not a sprint, it's a marathon. Yet, so many people expect instant results, as if years of accumulated stress, trauma, and nervous system dysregulation can be undone overnight. This impatience often comes from a place of survival. When you've been stuck in fight or flight mode for so long, your mind craves quick fixes to escape the discomfort. But here's the thing. True recovery doesn't happen on a timeline. It unfolds at its own pace. And the more you try to rush it, the more resistance you create. Instead of fighting against time, what if you allowed it to work for you? Think of healing as planting a garden. You can't force a flower to bloom faster by tugging at its petals. All you can do is nurture the soil, water the seeds, and trust that growth is happening beneath the surface, even if you can't see it yet. For example, if you're working on regulating your nervous system, focus on daily practices like mindful breathing or gentle movement, and trust that these small actions are creating change over time. Progress may feel slow, but every step forward is a step closer to clarity and peace. Of course, trusting the process isn't always easy. There will be moments when you feel stuck, when the symptoms flare up, and you wonder if you're moving backward. But here's the truth. Progress isn't always linear. It's not about the absence of anxiety. It's about how you show up for yourself in the face of it. And that brings us to the final piece of the puzzle: redefining how you measure progress in your healing journey. When it comes to healing anxiety, many people fall into the trap of measuring progress by the absence of symptoms. It's understandable. After all, isn't the goal to feel calm and free of nervousness? But here's the catch. Anxiety recovery isn't about erasing every symptom. It's about building resilience, learning to navigate flare-ups, and showing up for yourself even when things feel hard. If you only focus on whether or not your symptoms are present, you risk missing the deeper transformations happening beneath the surface. A better way to measure progress is by looking at how you respond to challenges. For example, maybe a situation that used to send you into a full-blown panic now only causes mild discomfort. Or perhaps you've started catching yourself before spiraling into mental loops. Choosing to pause and breathe instead. These moments of growth may seem small, but they're powerful indicators of change. Progress isn't about perfection. It's about showing up again and again, even when it feels messy or incomplete. The beauty of this mindset shift is that it frees you from the pressure of fixing yourself. Instead of chasing an anxiety-free life, you can focus on building a life where anxiety no longer controls you. And as you embrace this new way of measuring progress, you'll find that healing becomes less about the destination and more about the journey. Now that you've uncovered the 10 hidden reasons holding you back from healing your anxiety, the question is, what are you going to do about it? Will you keep complicating the process, or will you take that first small step towards simplifying your journey? Remember, healing isn't about perfection. It's about progress. It's about showing up for yourself, even when it feels uncomfortable, and trusting that every small action adds up over time. So, what's one thing you can start doing today to move closer to the life you deserve? Take a moment to reflect. Are you holding onto old habits or identities that no longer serve you? Are you rushing the process, or maybe being too hard on yourself? Whatever it is, know that you have the power to change it. Healing starts with awareness, and now you have the tools to take back control. But here's the thing. Transformation doesn't happen in isolation. Share your thoughts in the comments. What resonated with you the most? What's one insight you're ready to apply? Let's start a conversation and support each other in this journey. And before you go, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. This is just the beginning of what we're going to explore together. If this video helped you, share it with someone who might need it too. Let's keep learning, growing, and healing one step at a time. See you in the next video.